Hello, students. This is welcome to all you guys in this orientation session. Let me introduce myself. I am Arshad Bhutta. I'm working as an educationist, trainer, mentor, coach, and freelancer. Uh, I'm holding two professional certifications, which is Certified Management Accounting and ACCA, Associated Chartered Certified Accountant. And I have more than 12 years experience as a trainer for different subjects of professional certifications like ACCA, UK, CMA, USA, CA, Pakistan, and many more. Alhamdulillah, I have diversified experience of training. I have worked in Pakistan as a trainer, and after that, I have worked in Dubai as a trainer. Uh, and it is my privilege that I have taught more than 40 nationality students in live classes as well as in uh, distance learning programs through virtual interaction with the students. Now, it is my honor, it is my privilege that I am working with VIFHE as a trainer for paper financial reporting. I'm a trainer in a different areas like uh, financial reporting, management accounting, financial management. But right now, with VIFHE, I'm working for paper FR, financial reporting. In my last session with VIFHE, which was September attempt, there were more than, I believe, 20 students. Those have, sorry for interruption, got coaching from me for paper FR. But the last my live session was in Dubai from the platform of PAC Dubai, and in that session it is my pride which I'm sharing with you that my result was 100%. My all students, those appeared in their exam, they have passed their paper of FR. I'm also running my own YouTube channel. From that channel, I'm providing the lectures both in English and Urdu for different aspects like for cost accounting, for financial accounting, for US gaps, and so many other areas. But right now, in today's session, our focus is how to pass financial reporting paper in December attempt. What I would like to share with you, we will discuss later on during the session, and what sort of the techniques we are supposed to use to accomplish our objective. So that was my brief introduction. Now I'm going to discuss what is financial reporting. This is just a brief introduction about the subject. What I believe, this is my own observation, that financial reporting is a language which communicates about financial position, about performance and flows of cash for a certain time period of an organization, which is a business entity. So this is the language. For any language, it is important that the person who is communicating the information and the person who is receiving the information both must have a command on that particular language. So what we will learn during this our session, that how you people will get command on this language. Now, the second definition, which is provided by ACCA, here this is bit technical and what specific definition about financial reporting. So here ACCA defines it that the objective of FR is to require all entities falling within its scope to highlight a range of important components of financial performance to aid users in understanding the performance achieved by an entity in the period and to assist them in forming a basis for the assessment of future results and cash flows. So this is what ultimate the objective of financial reporting is, to communicate about financial performance of the entity which is under your consideration. So important thing is how companies will achieve their objective. How we can analyze the financial performance of an entity, whether they have achieved their objective or not. For any business entity, what is the objective? Is to earn profit. So if organizations are earning profit, they have achieved their objectives. And if they are not earning their profit, they are not achieving their objectives. So first thing with financial reporting will communicate whether there is a profit or loss. The second thing is, by accomplishing the objective of organization, ultimately what will happen? Their financial resources will move up. That is called financial position. There is one famous quote that business can survive without profits, but business cannot survive without cash. So it is also giving the historical information, what was the movement in previous one accounting period about cash flows of the organization. So all these things we will learn in this paper, which is called financial reporting. Now, the important thing is how this subject fits in whole syllabus of ACCA. So this is in black box or this paper, which is financial reporting. This paper is assuming knowledge what you have learned in your previous paper, financial accounting. So that paper is the basic of this paper. So from that, the knowledge which you will now gain in this paper will directly help you in your another paper, which is advanced paper, strategic business reporting. So this is the three papers linked. You are using financial accounting paper knowledge in this paper, and in this paper knowledge you are using in strategic business reporting paper. But you are also getting some sportive knowledge, which is from corporate and business law. So that's why I have used dotted arrow. Why? Because this corporate and business law knowledge does not give you the 100% guidance for this paper, but you are getting some supportive knowledge. For instance, in corporate and business law, you have studied company law. So here that will give you the help about what is company, how companies operates, etc. Now, another important thing is the knowledge which you will gain in this subject in financial reporting will help you in another paper, but not 100%. That is audit and assurance. Because financial reporting paper gives you the guidelines how to prepare the financial statements. And in audit and assurance, you are supposed to learn how to audit the financial statements. So if you don't know how to prepare financial statements, then how you will be able to audit it? So now this audit and assurance paper knowledge will directly be used in your another optional paper, which is advanced audit and assurance paper, AAA. Now for that paper, you will also use the knowledge which you have got in strategic business reporting. So overall, about financial reporting, your foundation is built in this paper. Okay. Now, what is the syllabus of this paper? First of all, one important aspect is conceptual and regulatory framework for financial reporting. So conceptual and regulatory framework for financial reporting is one area of syllabus. Here we will discuss some basic frameworks to prepare your financial statements. Then the most important, the key area of the syllabus, that is about how to deal with individual transactions. For that purpose, you have different international accounting standard, IAS or IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. Those standards will give you the guidelines about how to record those transactions in your financial statements, how to recognize those transactions in your financial statements. That we will learn by having knowledge of different international accounting standards and international financial reporting standards. So what are those standards? One important area for that purpose, we have a lot of standards, that is tangible non-current assets. Here we will study IS 16, IS 23, IS 20, IS 40. So these are the areas, these are the standards. Those will give you the guidelines how to recognize and how to account for tangible non-current assets in your financial statements. And after that, intangible assets. For intangible assets, we have again IS 38, which is one standard, as well as IFRS 3. So these are the two standards. Those will give you the guidelines about how to recognize and how to account for intangible assets. Then we have impairment of assets. For that purpose, we have IS 36, impairment of assets. And then inventory and biological assets. For inventory, we have IAS 2. For biological assets, we have IS 41. Then financial instruments. For this area, we have again three standards: IS 32, IFRS 7, and IFRS 9. Then we have leasing. For this, we have another standard, which is IFRS 16. Previously, it was IS 17, leasing. Now it is IFRS 16. Keep in mind that IFRS 16, we will not learn 100% in paper FR, but we will learn up to 70 to 80% about this standard in paper FR, and remaining you will learn in your paper strategic business reporting. Then provisions and events after the reporting period. For provisions, we have IS 37. For events after reporting period, we have IS 10. Then for taxation, again, taxation will not be tested 100% in paper FR. This is IS 12. Reporting financial performance, how to report financial performance, in how to prepare your financial statement. For that purpose, we have IS 1. Then revenue. For revenue, we have IFRS 15. Previously, there were two standards. One was IS 18 and the other was IS 11. Now these both were merged, and for this area, now we have our IFRS 15. Now keep in mind that there is another body, which is one is International Accounting Standard Board, IASB, which is the body that is preparing and issuing international financial reporting standards. And there is another body which is giving the guidelines for US based companies, that is called US GAAP. Now this standard IFRS 15 was drafted and prepared by the convergence of two bodies. So this is the same in under IFRS as well as under US GAAP. Then for government grants, we have IS 20. I have referred it in tangible non-current assets, but here there is a specific discussion about this, that is IS 20, government grants. Then foreign currency transactions, again IFRS 13. So these are the standards. That is the key area of syllabus. This is what in my whole academic career I have discussed with my students at paper financial accounting level, at paper effort level, at paper strategic business reporting level. If you have command on international financial reporting standards, then you are competent enough to pass your paper financial reporting, because these are components will be tested in other areas of syllabus. Then preparation of financial statements. So now we have discussed these standards to account for different transactions in your financial statements. Then we will learn how to prepare your financial statements. For that purpose, we have two types of financial statements. One is for single entity financial statements. You have one entity, and for that entity you are supposed to prepare your financial statement. If you have good command on that section B area, like accounting for transactions in financial statements, then preparation of financial statements is not a big deal. You can prepare very easily, because the concepts which you have learned in that area will be applied in this area. Then we are supposed to prepare the consolidated financial statements, including an associate. So what is consolidated financial statements? That is also called group accounting. How to prepare consolidated financial statements? I'm just giving you the brief introduction about this. There are two types of companies. One is called parent company, and the other company is called subsidiary company. Now, there is a possibility that one company may have bought the shares of another company. So the company whose shares bought by other company, that is subsidiary company, and the company who have bought the shares of the other company, that is parent company. There is a certain criteria. So the to determine whether it is a subsidiary or not, we will discuss later on. So consolidated group of companies is inclusive of what? Parent and subsidiary. Associate is not part of group, but in when we are preparing the financial statements of the whole group, we are supposed to account for associate as well. So how we will prepare those financial statements, we will learn this also in our this session. Then there is an analysis and interpretation of financial statements of single entity and group. Now look, we have prepared the financial statements by using historical data. We have prepared the financial statements by using historical data. There is a need of interpretation and analysis. Then the users of financial statements would be able to take corrective decisions. For that purpose, we are supposed to analyze, and for that purpose, we will calculate different ratios. Because as I discussed earlier, there are some, we are using historical data. So the user of the financial statements would not be able to take a right decision by just using the financial statements. For that purpose, we are supposed to prepare, we are supposed to prepare the ratios, and by using those ratios, we will interpret the things and we will take the right decisions. Okay, so that is also area of the syllabus. Then there is also some limitation of those ratios. We will discuss that also during our sessions, that what are the limitations you are by using those ratios for your interpretation purpose. Then we are supposed to discuss some not-for-profit and public sector entities. Now look, our major focus is on what? Business entities. So business entities ultimate objective is to earn profit. But there are some sort of organizations, those objective is to serve the community, that those are called not-for-profit organizations, as well as government sector organizations. Also objective is not to earn the profit, but is to serve the community at large. How their financial statements are prepared and those are working, we will learn this thing also during our session. So this is the whole syllabus, but the key of the syllabus is if you have command or on international accounting standards. Now have a look at what are the standards, those are examinable. We will discuss IS 1 in paper FR, IS 2 in paper FR, IS 7 in paper FR, IS 8 in paper FR, IS 10, IS 12, IS 16, IS 19 is not examinable in paper FR. This standard will totally be tested and you will learn in paper strategic business reporting. So here we will not discuss this paper. And after that, IS 20 government grants we will learn here. Then IS 21 effects of changes in foreign exchange rates we will discuss here. Then borrowing cost we will discuss here. Then IS 24 related party disclosures will not be discussed here. IS 27 will be discussed here. IS 28 will be discussed here. IS 32 will be discussed here. IS 33 earnings per share will be discussed here. IS 34 would not be examinable. IS 36 will be discussed here. IS 37 will be discussed here. IS 38 intangible assets will be discussed here. IS 40 investment property will be discussed here. IS 41 will be discussed here. IFRS 1 will not be discussed here. IFRS 2 will not be discussed here. IFRS 3 business combination will be discussed here. Then IFRS 5 non-current assets held for sale and discontinued operations will be discussed here. IFRS 7 financial instruments will be discussed here. IFRS 8 will not be discussed in paper financial reporting. IFRS 9 financial instruments will be discussed here. IS 10 consolidated financial statements will be discussed here. IFRS 11 will not be discussed. IFRS 12 will not be discussed. IFRS 13 fair value measurement will be discussed here. Then IFRS 15 revenue from contracts with customer will be discussed here. And IFRS 16 leases will be discussed here. And then conceptual framework for financial reporting will be discussed here. So these are the standards which we are supposed to learn in paper financial reporting. This area is very important. What assumed knowledge students are having from their previous paper. So most of the students, those are attempting paper financial reporting, they have already studied either paper financial accounting and cost, or by having exemption due to the previous their qualifications, they are competent enough that they have this basic assumed knowledge which you will learn in paper financial accounting. So you people are well familiar about published company financial statements. What are those? Statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, statement of changes in equity, statement of financial position, and statement of cash flows. You people may be familiar about these terms and what is the objective of these financial statements. But I am just giving you the quick review that statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income will give you the idea about financial performance, whether you have profit or loss. Statement of changes in equity will tell you what is the change in during the accounting period in your equity structure. Statement of financial position is based on what? Accounting equation, assets is equal to owner's equity plus liability. So the knowledge which the information which you have got in statement of changes in equity will be used again in statement of financial position and statement of cash flow. That will tell you about what are the movements during the accounting period in your cash flows and from what sort of the activities you are getting the cash flows. So what I am assuming that you people may have this basic knowledge about these informations, about these financial statements and relevant informations. Then the knowledge which you have from your paper financial accounting, you may be familiar with IS2 inventory. Then you would be familiar with about IS16 PPE, property, plant and equipment, that is relevant to tangible non-current assets. Then IS38 intangible assets. So these standards you have studied up to some extent in your paper financial accounting. Then IS37 provisions, contingent liabilities and contingent assets. And then IS10 events after reporting period. And then you have some basic information about basic group accountings, what is consolidated financial statements. You have basic knowledge about these things. And some basic ratios knowledge, like some profitability ratios calculation, some working capital ratios calculation, some liquidity ratios calculations, but not at complex level, which we will discuss in this paper. So this is the assumed knowledge which you got from your previous subject. And then we are supposed to discuss what is the exam structure of the paper financial reporting. In section A, you have 15 OT questions, objective test questions, and each question having 2 marks. So 30 marks your exam weightage is of section A. Then section B, again you have OT questions, but these are questions based on scenarios. Every scenario have 5 OT questions. So you have one scenario, and after that, for that scenario relevant, you have 5 questions. So overall 3 scenarios, and every scenario have 5 questions. Again, total 15 questions, and every question have 2 marks. So again, this is the 30 marks area, section B. Then in section C, you have 2 questions, and every question have 20 marks. So these are the constructed response questions, and most of the cases it would be from to prepare consolidated financial statements, to prepare single entity financial statements, or about the interpretation. So these are the 3 areas from where examiner will test your section C. Now, the most important thing is for every section, like if you will find my lecture about say for IS16, at the end of the session I have solved some section A questions as well as section B questions, and you will find my recorded lectures full-fledged for section C, as well as in our live sessions we will discuss about the questions of every section. So this exam duration is 3 hours. One important thing which I would like to discuss with you later on, we will talk in detail, that is, in your professional certifications exams, the most important thing is how you are going to manage your time. That is the key skill, especially after this, in this post-COVID era. You are supposed to appear in your exams through computer-based interactions. For FR, it's not a new thing, it's the same previous pattern, but here you are supposed to attempt your question from your home. Previously, you were supposed to travel to your center. And what will be the policy of ACCA for December attempts? Still not clear whether it would be again from home based or you are supposed to travel to your center. But here again, time management is a major issue. We will talk about it later on, how to manage your time during your exams. So, what takeaway, what you will get, what you would carry forward after having this session with me, and after passing, after appearing in this exam, you would be competent enough to apply and discuss conceptual and regulatory framework. You would be competent enough to recognize and record the transaction in your financial statements by applying the knowledge of international accounting standards. You would be competent enough to do the analysis of your financial statements. You would be competent enough to prepare your single entity as well as group of companies financial statements as per the guidelines of international financial reporting and international accounting standards. Then this is the key discussion of today's session. Why students are got failed, reasons of failure. The one of the key reason is students don't understand what is the requirement of the examiner. Why students don't understand what is the requirement of the examiner? First reason, they don't have knowledge about that particular syllabus area. Second thing is, during their exam, they may have less concentration on question. So be careful in your exams once you are reading the question. So if you have understand what is the requirement of the examiner, you are your probability to answer right is more than 80%. What I believe, especially in OT section. So in section A and section B, you must have to be more vigilant to understand what is the requirement of the examiner. Then the second thing is, you understand the requirement, but your answer is not according to the what required by the examiner. That is also the reason of your failure. Then the major issue is time management. So you have 3 hours exam, your total time is 180 minutes and you have 100 marks exam. So for every mark you have 1.8 minutes. So total time for section A is 54 minutes and 3.6 minutes for every objective test question. So for every MCQ, you have 3.6 minutes. So be vigilant and I hope inshallah at the end of the session, you would be well equipped to manage your time within the limits. Then again, for section B, you have 54 minutes, and for section C, you have 72 minutes and 36 minutes for every question. Okay. Then another reason, you may have selective study. So this is one what I have experienced as being a professional trainer and as being a student of professional studies. That if you have done selective study, the probability to pass your exam is less than 50%. So don't focus on some specific areas. Must have to be go through to every area, and you must have a 100% command on every area of syllabus. Okay. So after that, lack of practice. So what I believe, any sort of accounting subject, whether it's a financial accounting, whether it's a management accounting, whether it's a cost accounting, whether it's a financial management, whether it's a financial reporting, etc. What sort of the accounting related subject you have, the ultimate thing is the practice, 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 practice. You have studied any standard, but if you don't have practiced the questions of that area, the probability to pass your exam is very low. So lack of practice is another reason of failure. So these are the reasons which we will overcome during the session. So what are the keys to success? What you have to do to overcome on all these reasons to accomplish your objective? First of all, the most important thing is your basics must have to be well understood. For that purpose, what I am always saying to my students, that if you have a command on your double entry system, then you would be able, which is your assumed knowledge of paper financial accounting, you would be too much competent enough to grab the knowledge of paper financial reporting. So basics understanding is very important thing. Then full coverage of syllabus. Don't go for selective study. Again, I am emphasizing on this statement. Don't go for selective study. Then maximum practice. As I discussed earlier, for accounting related subjects, you need practice, practice, practice. Then try to understand the requirement of the question during your exam before you will start the planning of your answer. Then revision of syllabus is very important thing. Before your exam, you must have to go through to the all syllabus once again. And if, especially in OTs, I discussed you earlier that time management is a major issue. So if you are bit uncertain about the answer, in that way case, you should have to go for a possible guess. Don't leave any question unanswered, because there is no negative marking in ACCA. So don't waste more time on one MCQ or one question than the time which is allocated. So this is, don't try always to get 100% sure answer, but when your time is lapsing at that point, follow the instruction of mentor and tutor, because once you are getting coaching from any one trainer, you are assuming that he is the specialist of that particular subject. So he is always supposed to be your well-wisher. So his instructions are very important, because he has experience about that subject, and he is sharing his expertise and experience, or she is sharing his expertise, her expertise or experience with you guys. So always try to follow the instructions of your mentor or tutor. So what our plan would be to accomplish our ultimate objective, to pass your FR exam in your first go. We will provide you e-notes through your portal, through our portal. You will find my recorded lectures for all these areas. We have a schedule of live webinars which is shared with you guys through portal. So we have live webinars where we will discuss the areas for which you have got the access of the recorded lectures. For those areas, we have interactive sessions for your questions, for your queries, and we will discuss over there past exam questions, as well as then we will provide you the mock exam at the end of the session with feedback facility. Like we will provide you about where you have weaker areas, where you have good areas, where you have to focus more to accomplish your ultimate objective to pass your exam. In first go, we have a rapid fire revision session at the end of the session, and after that, another important area which is skipped in this uh, my presentation, that is you have 24 by 7 access of mine through our WhatsApp group. You can ask me the query anytime. Like you, if you want to interact with my students in last session, they will told you how much I was accommodative and cooperative with the students to answer their queries, even though through WhatsApp groups. Okay, so the management will share you the link of the WhatsApp group. So our ultimate objective is we are supposed to work as a team to accomplish our ultimate objective, and I'm available to you guys every time for your any sort of query.